We know proper nutrition is essential to students. What and when they eat significantly affects their ability to learn. The Appleton Area School District in Wisconsin is taking a community-wide approach to school nutrition. It began in 1997 at Appleton Central Alternative High School with a pioneering healthy food program sponsored by Natural Ovens of Manitowoc.
In January of 1997, I visited Central High School as a prospective employee and observed the students that were housed here at the time and found them to be rude, obnoxious, very crude, and ill-mannered.
I was brought over to the school because the school was out of control. They were having a lot of problems with rebellious students, weapons violation, things of that nature. So they wanted a cop on school premise at all times.
We started the food program approximately 3.5 years ago. One Friday, the kids were here. They had candy machines and pop machines in the student lounge. The following Monday, they came to school and they were greeted by water coolers and healthy bagels and energy drink for breakfast.
Since we started the program, the Nutrition, the Natural Ovens program, with the complete diet, the balanced diet, I have seen a total change in the students and the environment within the school. It's amazing.
Now that 5 years later I actually have a job here, I was hesitant once again to start and found that the atmosphere is entirely different. The students are calm, they're well behaved. I don't have to deal with the daily discipline issues, out and out disciplining of students. That just isn't an issue here.
Every year we are required to file a state report. On the state report they include information regarding the number of dropouts, expulsions, drugs, weapons, suicides. Since we've started this program, all 3 years, zeros is what I have had to report. It's a pretty nice report to fill out.
We have kids who were identified as being at risk, kids who had been truant, kids who had had a lot of problems. We got through the whole last year without an expulsion. Dropouts dropped to non-existence. Kids came to school, they were happy. They have learned that with healthier foods, it's going to make them a better person. It keeps them more focused. It makes them happier at their work.
And the returning students are now the advocates for the program. The kids encourage each other, they set the example, and they demonstrate proper eating habits to the new kids. It works great.
But when I have kids asking me, hey Dan, how much do you work out a week? What do you do here? What do you eat? Is this what you eat all the time? And it's almost like now the kids are interested.
Well, physically, I couldn't be able to run long distance. I couldn't be able to do flips or sports or work out is to my ability if I wasn't eating right.
When I first came here, I really liked the food. It tastes good. It's hot, it's fresh. There's no preservatives in it. There's no too much seasoning, anything like that. It just helped a lot to have some people that put that much time and effort into your food.
Students, teachers, and staff all notice students' improved attitude. They're happier, more receptive, and show a congenial sense of humor.
From a social work standpoint, I think it's made my job easier because we don't have the angry outbursts that we're dealing with, so instead we get to deal with the real issues that are underlying and causing some of the problems and the concerns in our kids' lives. And I think it's easier to talk to kids today than it was a few years ago before we started the program, before the kids were getting the basic nutrition in their diet.
It's the education process that they're receiving, they're feeling worthwhile about themselves over here, or it's the food that they're receiving, or it's a combination of all three. I like the all three put together because their kids are a lot more productive than they've ever been in their lives.
Now that I concentrate, I think it is easier to get along with people. Because now I'm paying attention to what they have to say and just not worrying about what I need to say to them.
Our biggest problems right now at this school are parking in the parking lot and student tardiness. I don't have the disruptions in class or the difficulties with student behavior that perhaps I experienced 4 years ago before we started the food program.
The foods here is a general group of foods that a teenager would be consuming in one day's time. Children that come to school on an empty stomach or with the highly sugared cereal, artificial colorings, flavorings, the candy bars, the soda pop loaded with sugar, sometimes 150 teaspoons to 180 teaspoons of sugar a day. The fat, the actual hydrogenated fat with the trans fats there that are so harmful for the body, the French fries, the chips, the burgers, and of course, the soft drinks. The caffeine, the sugar, the artificial flavorings again. Not the kinds of things that a young body, a young growing body, a young learning body should be putting in their system.
A lot of these kids, when we first asked them, what did you have for breakfast today? You'd be surprised that 90% of them had absolutely nothing, and we were at lunchtime already. So they've had no breakfast, no lunch, and they're trying to be productive people without anything in their system at all.
If you've been guzzling Mountain Dew and eating chips and you're flying all over the place, I don't think you're going to pick up a whole lot in class.
Healthy food has had more of an impact than we thought. We believed that it would help settle the kids down, which it has done, but I think we were surprised the impact it's had on academic learning.
Good, healthy food that helps you function pretty much. If you're going for a big test, you want to eat right.
It's the kind of foods that we should be eating. The fresh fruits, the fresh vegetables, the whole grains, at least 8 glasses of water a day. It's the whole grain cereals, things that nourish the body, things that give the neurotransmitters the nutrients that they need to learn.
You really have to have the right fuel to start the fire, and the fire of learning needs a healthy mind and a healthy body.
Personally, I think I've been able to demand more academically from my students over the last few years than I could when we first opened the school without the nutrition program. I use all of the minutes in the class period for instruction.
More recently, the district's approach to nutrition is broadening to encompass elementary and middle schools as well as high schools. Each school is adapting and refining ideas according to their circumstances.
At this point right now, one of our middle schools is fully on healthy foods. We anticipate that the other 3 will be by the end of the year. We're also getting rid of pop machines and in general have a district-wide approach to healthier lifestyles and healthier eating.
2 middle schools in Appleton are taking different routes at different speeds. Einstein Middle School's approach is more incremental.
What we've done is we've cut way back on the amount of fats that we've offered a la carte, and we've cut way back on the amount of sweets that we've offered and completely cut out candy. Since we started this, and I'd have to say it's subtle and not as striking, but what I've noticed is more calmness, but less bouncy activity. Students seem to me to be more alert and focused.
In the morning I'm extremely busy because I come to school, I go to homeroom, I go to Spanish, I go to English, I go to tech ed, and then I end up going to history before I can even get a lunch, so it's really important for me to get a breakfast in. If I didn't eat breakfast, it'd be well over 12 hours before I'd get another meal in me.
I think you also have to take 3 or 4 years to really make a full transition for a district of 25 schools and 15,000 students, because I think if you try and just implement it all at once without taking a look at the curriculum, working with the parents and the faculty, you run the danger of really trying to sell something that will sell on its own merits given time.
The time had come to take it seriously and to extend respect to the students and to ourselves and take some action on good health. They are buying the a la carte treats that we have that meet those guidelines. And this year we have baked chips and all the things that meet the guidelines. We have a growing use of the salad bar this year in both 7th and 8th grade.
I started to like it more because I started eating healthier.
This year my bees are a lot better because I've been eating breakfast in the morning and eating healthier and having a salad for lunch.
In the morning, from 7:30 to 7:50, when the kids are in the halls, we have not had one incident all year that I've had to get involved in with shoving, a fight, aggressive behavior that would take place.
Well, I've been teaching here for almost 30 years. I see the kids this year as calmer. They're easier to talk to. They just seem more rational. I'd thought about retiring this year, and basically I've decided to teach another year, so I'm having too much fun.
think instead of looking at the food program as a break-even, I think we have to take a look at what do we need to put in to really make it good for kids.
Nutrition for students should be part of a general operating budget. We're concerned about everything else. We're concerned about new band uniforms. We're concerned about the football team. We're concerned about books, textbooks. Why not be concerned about nutrition? That seems to me the basis in many cases for creating a positive learning environment.
I can't buy the argument that it's too costly for schools to provide good nutrition for their students. I found that one cost will reduce another. I don't have the vandalism. I don't have the litter. I don't have the need for high security.
If you're going to have a healthy meal, it's going to take some time, it's going to take some effort, and school districts are going to have to buy into it as a whole. Let's invest in these kids now, financially with food versus invest in them later financially with how do we correct the problems that we have, depression and all those other things because they're not eating healthy.
But if it's the right thing to do and it results in a happier kids, improved learning, and ultimately just a better community, then it's a cost we cannot avoid. It's something we must do.
We've got to stop using our most precious commodity, our kids, to make extra money.